we should point out there isn't a White House bill per se. There are ideas. The Congressional Budget Office can't even score what the White House put out this week yet because they said there aren't specifics. And usually people negotiate over a specific bill that's laid out. There won't be one on the table. Charles.
Right. Well, that's because the event Thursday is not a real event about real numbers. It's a theatrical event. Look, Obama became president of the United States with a theatrical campaign in 2008. Charisma, rhetoric, that's what he does best. He then tried a year of governing. He didn't succeed very well. So he's returning to theater Thursday. And I think it's going to help him. I think he's likely to come out ahead as he did when he met with the House Republicans in Baltimore. And his idea is you pivot off that with the bump you get, the confidence, the morale it infuses in your troops in the Senate and the House, and you go and you attempt reconciliation.
Well, about that, reconciliation, and it's this process. Senator Robert Byrd from West Virginia is one of the people who came up with the rule back in 1974. Here's what he wrote to his colleagues just last year about using reconciliation, this process for health care. I oppose using budget reconciliation to pass health care reform and climate change legislation. Such a proposal would violate the intent and spirit of the budget process and do serious injury to the constitutional role of the Senate. That's from April of last year.
Well, since he is one of the inventors of this process, I think he's a pretty good authority on the spirit and intent. And it is a trick, and we've never done it for a bill of this scope and size of reform or revolution in the sixth of the American economy. However, it's not illegal, and I think it's still possible. Look, I think the reason Obama's trying this is not because he wants to placate his left and show that he gave it to college a try. This is a man who believes ideologically in this deeply. He sees himself as a world historical figure, not just the first African-American president, but like Reagan, a man who changed history. He wants to be the father of national health care. And if this is passed or jammed or rammed, ultimately, we are going to end up with a Canadian system or a British system, and he'll be remembered as the man who did it. It's about ideology and politics.
Steve, as we pointed out at the beginning of the show, the key part of the reconciliation process is the House has to first pass the existing Senate bill with no changes.
Right.
And the numbers just aren't there.
No, the numbers do not work at this point. I mean, you talk to people on Capitol Hill, and you have numbers thrown around anywhere from 215. Somebody today said to me 190 Nancy Pelosi might be able to get. I mean, people don't have any sense of where the final number will be, but there seems to be broad agreement that she doesn't have the numbers. But just to Charles' point briefly, I agree that, I think that he would like to have passed this as a president. But if he were that committed to it all along, why did he take an entire year letting everybody else do the details without this is the first time the president has really weighed in with any kind of specifics, and now we've only got 11 pages worth of specifics at that.
I think the answer is he misread the Clinton experience. He interpreted it as if the president imposes or proposes a plan, it gets torn apart and you fail. And he thought, I'll do it the reverse way, but he overread the lesson. He did it entirely too much, handing it over to the barons in the House and the Senate, and he was stuck with two monstrosities.